Hello, my name is Terry. This video will cover our investigation of Pythian Castle, which occurred on May 14th, 2022. Because there was so much footage recorded during this investigation, I'm going to break it up into 4 separate videos. The first video will cover the pre-investigation footage, which includes 2 rotations down in the tunnel of the walking tours. Before the walking tours occurred, I conducted an EVP session down in the tunnel. I stood at the entrance, and behind me I had a speaker with an MP3 player playing the sound of running water in the background. I want to do an experiment to see how effective having the sound of running water is in the background to hear the EVP replies. During the EVP session, very few of my questions were actually answered. For some reason, ghosts are very particular about the questions they reply to. If you don't happen to stumble on a line of questioning that's in their interest or piques their curiosity, they tend not to reply, and that seems to be more the case than not in this instance. They did answer a few questions, but what's of greater interest is that you can overhear their conversation amongst themselves where they're talking to each other. They're not answering a lot of my questions, but they're communicating with each other. Was there a boiler or a steam pipe explosion in the past? Can you tell me the name of one of Tamara's dogs or cats? Mr. Boots, a figure keeps being seen in the theater upstairs on the 2nd floor. It particularly seems to show up when Todd is up there. Is that you or is it someone else? Are you still keeping an eye on your prisoners? Is that why you're still here? There's 2 military vehicles parked overhead at the end of the tunnel. Are those quite a bit different from the military vehicles you were used to seeing? They're sand color, very large. Can you say hello? Note to camera, I thought I heard something down the tunnel. Also, if this does work, can you tell me if it's because you can modify the sounds? Or is it because it provides a background? Or is it none of the above? The following 3 clips were recorded when nobody was in the basement. You'll hear the sounds of banging on the pipes down in the tunnel, and there is no one down in this tunnel at this time. You'll also hear the sound on one of the 3 clips of footsteps accompanying the strange sounds. Occasionally in the castle you can record strange lights that appear for no reason. In the tunnel, 3 of these lights appeared on camera. I've ruled out the most common things. The lasers being projected onto the back wall are not in the tunnel. They're outside the tunnel, aiming away from the tunnel. None of these 3 light anomalies could be caused by the lasers because they're in the wrong position and aimed in the wrong direction. The only other possibility is if you have light emitters on the camera reflecting off of a bug that's flying by the camera. This camera had no light emitters on it whatsoever. There is no source of light by the camera. Whatever these 3 objects are, they're emitting their own light, and that makes them paranormal or of unknown origin. These strange lights are usually very short in duration and very small. I have 3 versions of most of these clips, a zoom version and a freeze frame version. I recorded 2 separate clips regarding the guests being taken down into the tunnel. While they were down there, nothing occurred, but what's interesting is during both instances, when both of the groups of people were taken out of the tunnel as they had just left, that's when something unusual occurs. In the first clip, the one woman who's conducting her guided tour down is just exited the tunnel with the last of her group. You'll hear a very loud and weird sound coming from this tunnel. I've never recorded a sound like this down in this tunnel. I've heard banging pipes and some other sounds like footsteps, but this sound is very unusual.
Were you the first one in? Oh, you were, okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
okay.
She decided you wanted to be last.
Okay. Did you feel anything?
When Mr. Boots appears like an after stone following him.
Like following behind you? Yes.
During the next clip, a second walking tour had occurred. This one was escorted by Todd as their guide. He had taken a group of people down into the tunnel. As they had left the tunnel, he was the very last person in the row leaving the tunnel. As he exited the tunnel, he was having a conversation with one of the guests. Right as he begins his conversation, a voice pipes up. It's a loud male EVP voice that says, "Let us out." This could be referring to a past POW prisoner who's making these references. You'll notice that this is in conjunction with what had happened during the earlier EVP sessions where voices were asking for similar things to happen.
Okay. Sir, do you want to stop right where you are?
Watch your head.
Yeah, duck down, go to your left, sure.
There you go.
Yeah, the first time my girlfriend and I came here, our guy didn't tell me at that time, and I hit my shoulder right on the neck, just a big deal.
That's so funny.
But Mr. Boots, the wise man recognized me to see he was here. And I hit my shoulder right on the neck, just a big deal. That time, I hit my shoulder right on the neck, just a big deal. That time, I hit my shoulder right on the neck, just a big deal.
The next group of clips down in the tunnel was from a split group of people. There are 2 women conducting an EVP session down in the tunnel. They have equipment and they also have a ghost box and they have an Ovilus type device. The people who are outside the tunnel are in the basement kitchen area and you can hear their conversations going on. You'll notice the 2 women in the tunnel are having a conversation where one of them is saying that they can physically see Mr. Boots. This did not show up on the camera. It could have been she was looking in the opposite direction, or Mr. Boots was behind the camera and she was looking from deeper within the tunnel toward the laser lights and he was being seen by these lights. I'll have to interview her to find out where she was positioned in relation to what she was seeing. But she described a form, and that she described it also, it seems to dissipate. She also makes notice that she sees lights down in the tunnel. The lights that you had seen in the earlier clips may be similar to what she was viewing, as these do become visible to the human eye on occasion. I have seen them myself. There was one photo from the tunnel of an anomaly that was captured on a camera. I don't know if this was recorded by the two women who were during this first rotation, or the time frame that this occurred. I need to hear back from the individual who took this photo to find out during what rotation they were down inside the basement. But it's very possible that these two women are the ones who captured the photo that's at the very end.
Can you make a sound for us?
Are you randomly yelling words on the audio list?
Oh yeah, that's weird. I can totally see you now. Wow, look at this. And it's gone. It's like slowly dissipating, can't see nothing.
There's one very weak EVP that's of particular note. It says all in picture. I'm suspicious that this may mean that it had allowed them to take a picture of Mr. Boots. People have much more success at capturing Mr. Boots in still photos than they do in video.
Can you see?
You know Mr. Boots.
Can I see you?
Can you raise the leader if you do?
I guess that's a no.
Raise it. Yeah. You know Mr. Boots. Is he nice?
Yes.
He's nice.
Mr. Boots, can you be sweet and make a sound for us?
That's a different voice. We're not scared if that's what you're trying to go for, so you might as well just communicate.
Or says no.
I just saw the light and then. Yes. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. They're going to be more. Can you show yourself or let me take a picture of you, please? Smile.
I'd like to thank the person who took this photo for submitting it. It was given to Todd and forwarded to me. I would like to get confirmation from the two women who were during the first rotation if this is indeed the photo that they took when they were seeing Mr. Boots. I've also provided several different versions of this photo with enhancements in brightness and contrast so that you can see the details better.